used to ask me, why are you jumping from job to job? And of course, it's an addiction, you know. And I
that time you would blame the boss.
I would blame other things than myself, you know, because one thing I was like, but I'm good. I used to sell. But now at that point is when now Mogoka came into the scene. I was introduced to it by a friend. This friend of mine, we are tight, is one of my best friends. He was rescued by his parents. They shipped him to Dubai. Otherwise, he'd have plunged deeper into addiction. But that doesn't mean in Dubai he's
I'm asking, is he better? Or
he's better. When he comes to Kenya, he compensates for the year he has been away. He overdoes, but now he's actually trying his best to stop it. Because
he's still using them.
Kidogo, he tries. But one of the things is that it's me who has influenced him. Because when I told him I'm going to get help, he was happy. Because Paul used to call him and tell him, Danny is over drinking. This guy is drinking a lot. This guy can drink. You can buy him a quarter. And he finishes it in less than 30 minutes. Yani I do it in 2 takes. Half.
And then you have more.
And I have more.
Yeah.
And I have more. So
the
the Mogoka now came. Mogoka was a good coping mechanism. And allow me to say this, because tunasemanga ukweli. God works in his own ways. If it wasn't for Mogoka, I would have died. Let me explain that. Because Mogoka used to, it's an opposite.
Yes, Mogoka is a stimulant.
Yeah, so it doesn't go well with alcohol.
Yes.
It doesn't. So when I chew, it would kill the craving. I remember there's a day I was at this party, and my friend, their dad is Indian, mom is Kenyan. They used to have all these artists, wazungus, they'd come. So they'd always find me with Mogoka, and the guy asked me, why are you always chewing? And I told him, this is the referee. It puts things in balance. But when I remove it, there's chaos. Yeah. Because now I was using 3. I was using Mogoka, marijuana, and alcohol. Because by now even the tolerance is high. Yeah. Mind you, remember I told you, through my university life, I was blacking out each time I drank. But now, there's been a transition. The tolerance now has gone up. So, a lot of Mogoka, chewing on a daily basis, because it used to be my coping mechanism. Alcohol stopped becoming that, because each time I drink, the effects would be bad tomorrow. The hangover would be terrible.
Then what happened? What was the turnaround? Because you've already painted a picture of when you were 18, is when you did everything you were told not to do.
I went ham.
And so, where was the turnaround?
So the turnaround is when I met my wife. Okay. I don't think it's when actually my wife is one of the reasons I'm still alive, because when she came into the picture, when I met her and we started staying together, she kept death away. You know how?
She accepted you.
She depended me. I was always, alcoholics are good people.
Yeah.
And if you actually get to see, by the time an alcoholic loses a spouse, you know why? Number one, I mean, we have very good character, and then we are loyal. The only thing, you know, wives wanasemanga, ushida yake tu ni pombe, and that's fine. Lakini bora si wanawake. You know?
But pombe also brings the wanawake.
No. For an addict.
For that one, even
you have no time.
That's not even,
you have no time, no interest.
You have no time.
Yeah.
So she comes into the picture.
She comes into the picture, so there's now structure in my life, because she found me now selling insurance.
Yeah.
So my things would be in order, and then she brought food. But it now makes me who I am.
Yes.
And you know, when you look at it, you go like, you know, God has his own interesting way of doing things. Yeah. So we stayed together, but by the time we met, now this alcohol is now having a toll on my body. You drink that. Spirit is not milk. Spirit, it's poison.
Yes, it is.
And your body is fighting every day to clean all that, and you keep on adding more and adding more. Yeah. So I started having episodes that required me to go to hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so now admission started. So I remember the first time, my cousin who passed on, he was also an alcoholic, came with a bottle. Now he just used to drink. So when we started drinking, I started having abdominal pains. And I told him, let's go to the bar and let's have a beer, because me, I'm tired of these spirits. So we'd go have a beer. He says, hey, we can't sustain this. And I told him, then you go, watch me go and rest. But when I went to rest, that night I was meant to go out with my wife. That time we were dating. That night an episode happened. And I woke up in hospital. So the people who took me to hospital, my friend and the neighbors, thought I had been poisoned. But kumbe, my body now is starting to react. I remember my friend from Dubai texting me because he saw I had been offline for a while and not responding, and he was worried. When I got back and I told him I have not been well, he told me, Daniel, your body is reacting to the alcohol. Your body is now crashing.
Yeah.
Because it's breaking down. It's like, okay, something must
And
be.
the liver, it must have been a liver.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was episode 1, and then it started becoming more severe because even though you go to a hospital, it doesn't stop you from drinking. Now,
when you were in hospital, did they ever point out on the alcohol use disorder?
Unfortunately.
Or they just checked you and they didn't even
Put in water, they detox you. And unfortunately, so there's an incident. God allowed these things to happen because any addict can say there are many times we should have died.
Oh, yes.
Many times. You know. But I was telling another gentleman, then if you want to call it coincidence, then maybe God's second name is coincidence. Yeah, because there was a spiritual entity, a divine that kept us from dying.
Yes.
And you know it.
Yeah.
So the time my phone was not working, and I took it to be fixed. No one could fix it, so I took it to Safaricom. When I took it to Safaricom, they sorted it out. Immediately I put it on, it asked, and I could not override that command. Put another number here. So I put my wife's. 2-3 days down the line, I'm depressed, drinking in the house. Not drinking. I need to drink, but when I drink, I want to vomit, but I still need to drink.
Yeah.
So you're there. So you're trying to drink, then you drink water so you don't vomit. So I was in between that.
Yes.
And I was like, what life is this? The caretaker is there knocking at my door. I've not paid rent for 2 months. My mom-in-law is around. So I was feeling really down, and I called my in-law. He was my in-law. He passed on. Another alcoholic.
Yeah.
And I told him, man, I'm feeling down. Can I get away? Kidogo. He told me, come. So we went, we bought a bottle of whiskey, bought food, and we drank the night away. In the morning, as I was going home, because I just gotten my firstborn son and I was going for clinic, I was very intentional about being a dad. On the way, I had an episode. I don't remember the whole journey. So apparently, I vomited in the vehicle. When I got to Kiserian, when I alighted from the vehicle, I started having, this episode used to make me walk around. This is the 3rd episode. There was one before, another scary one.
Then the second one at home when you were with your wife?
The first one was at home with my wife. The second one I had gotten my firstborn son.
And now this is the third one?
This is the 3rd one.
Okay. So you would walk around?
I'd walk around. It's like I've been possessed. And so people saw me walking across the road. Even a policeman. I was told this story by the person who saved me months down the line. He said, you were walking. And there was a policeman even there watching traffic, and he didn't do anything about it. So some people came to steal from me. So they took me, and they were taking me into a...
How are you walking? In a daze?
In a daze. I was crossing the road, just walking like in circles. That would happen. Even at home, the first time it happened, I'd wake up and I'd walk around the room. And my wife would look at me. But she'd tell me, when I'd look at you, you're not here. It's like my eyes were locked in a funny way. And I believe that at that point, there must have been spiritual warfare going on over my life.
So the cop...
So the cop, these guys are going to rob me. And they're taking me into a car. Alley. And as they're doing this, some taxi men are looking at me. When they saw me being taken, because everybody's watching what's going on with this guy. Hey, they got out of the car, they came, they were like, wait, bring this man here. They put me in the car. So they stopped me from being robbed and whatever they have done with me. They cared less about my life. So these guys took me, and those were angels. Put me in the car and they were like, this guy is not okay. How do we help him? Me, when I wake up in hospital with a drip and my wife is sitting there with Lucozade, I ask her, how did you find me? She said, some taxi men took your phone and the first thing they saw was my number.
Imagine.
Imagine how I felt in hospital at at that time, and I remembered. You know, you got flashback back to Safaricom, the command, refusing, trying to override it, refusing, put the number, and I knew I was God.
You know, there's a scripture that says, you know, you've taken me there. It says, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb, and I ordained you a prophet. To mean, even now, this was already planned. You're just living it in the physical. So sometimes you look back and say, I mean, then it gives you a kind of consolation that you're not alone, or also a belief that you are never alone.
Yes, through it all, yes. And it doesn't mean that, and that also what you said is true. It's a consolation that it was not all in vain.
Oh my.
The world sees it as a waste of time, but not God.
No.
Not God. God is like, I have a plan for you.
Oh my goodness.
So each time I'd remember that, and I'd just worship God through the admission. And the insurance company, God was timely. The insurance company I worked for paid for my bills because I had inpatient, no outpatient. That inpatient helped me. And this is a time, now this is what you had asked me. The third time I was admitted, it was the same doctor, no, this is the third time. The second time, the doctor who saw me at Nairobi Hospital had asked me, Daniel, you sell insurance, did you have a bonus? Why did you drink so much? And this is a specialist. And I don't have an answer for him. The third time he meets me at this hospital, he says, it's you again. He says, if you do this, you might not have another chance. So in the report, he writes something, alcohol. I'm like, oh God, who is going to pay for this now? My boss was sitting down, and I was told by my colleague who was in the office with him, and he got the letter, and he said, Orenge shida yake ni nini na pombe. And he just signed.
He approved
He approved it.
Did that change anything?
When I used to leave the hospital, I used to get to the roundabout for Karen, tell my parents I want to buy juice, then I'd go and buy mogoka. The result is I'm only going to chew mogoka. And of course the cycle starts again.
Yes.
You chew mogoka, you go buy a Guinness. After a Guinness, you go buy a quarter. Then you buy weed, and then bam, it starts again. So
The
turnaround, I finally got a job with a fintech that I was doing so well in because I was passionate about the product. And I worked with them for years, and I was even given a promotion through COVID. And you know, this used to make me feel I'm on the right path.
Yes.
God was now planning, because I used to pray. I look at my Bible and I look at days. When I look at the book of Psalms, I see a date I've put there, and I see the Bible I wrote, and I'm like, I remember this day. With my hangover in the morning, I'd come to God and I'd tell God, help me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get out of this. Help me. And it makes me know that even right now, the prayers you make are not in vain. You just have to trust God. Because I can see them. I used to seek him and ask him, God, really, everybody looks at me in this way. But you know I'm stuck. How do I get out of this? Like now, can you do a miracle? I stop feeling like I need a drink. After you finish like this, you go buy a quarter.
There's such a powerful word.
You're powerful word.
Presence.
Nothing. The craving is still there. The body is demanding. The day I poured a whole liter of gin in the toilet. God, you see, I'm serious. In the morning, I was regretting as I went to buy a cheap one. I was hoping God will see my sacrifice.
I keep telling people that even people you see in active addiction or the way they are in drunken stupor, it's not like they never realize it. And like they never try to stop. It's a constant battle.
They're stuck. People don't, and I keep telling even families that it's him who is it's him who is there, not you. I know you guys are secondary, you guys are suffering because of him, but he is the one in it. He's living with that reality of unproductivity, sickness, having to lie so he can drink. It's not that he wants to lie to you. It's because he's sick. He needs a drink.
Yeah, if he doesn't have
he could lose it, you know.
So I heard you talk about rehab. How did you get to rehab?
So there's a time my boss called me for a meeting, and he knew this was
fintech, yeah?
Yes, he called me for a meeting because he had to step in for me. And when I went for the meeting, my sister had already told me, who was HR, that you've lost the job. So I was feeling bad because I finally gotten to a level of consistency where my house is being paid for, my children are starting school, my firstborn was in school, my secondborn was joining school, and I had just gotten my thirdborn, my baby girl, my only daughter. And I was like, really? So I said, let me go and confess I have a problem, maybe they'll forgive me. So I went, and he asked me, Daniel, do you have a problem? And I said, yes. He said, I'm happy you have accepted. As a friend, you should go get help. But as a director, we have to let you go. My heart sank. And then he said, but if you go get treatment and show us evidence of 3 months of treatment, we may, not we will, we may consider taking you back. And as I left, I remember
were they offering you treatment? Were they taking care of the cost?
No, they were not.
You're on your own.
Yeah. So I remember the CEO who was very fond of me because he used to see that this guy will sell my product. He was a bit sad, but he didn't even talk to me that day. I had already started doing voiceovers for the company. So God was already planning something for me. So when I left, he told me, take this positively. And I remember walking to the road as I was going to go to Mogoka. And I asked God, why have you given me this weight? And I felt, I cannot forget, I felt an energy coming to me, telling me, stop looking down, look up, and do what you have been told. Do what concerns you. And I said, you know what? I'm going to rehab.
Yeah.
If that's what I need to try to get out of this, I'm going to rehab. So I met my wife, and my wife already could tell who I'm a Poteza cousin.
So no Mogoka.
I chewed Mogoka.
Oh, I thought that voice was stronger.
No. I went to chew. Mogoka was my friend then. So I went to chew it.
Yes.
Had a conversation with my wife. Following day, I went and had a conversation with my brother who had seen me. There's a time I had pushed my mom when I had a bad stupor. And my brother had witnessed these things when they used to fly in from the UK. So they used to really pray for me. So the day I sat down with him and I was telling him the following day, I need to go to rehab. And my cousin looked at me. And my cousin had always been trying to connect me to addiction counselors. And he said, Daniel, why don't you stop drinking? And I said, because I can't. And immediately he heard that. And my brother was like, now how are we going to pay? He told my brother, keep quiet. We are taking him to rehab.
Wow.
That's when the brothers came. That's the brotherhood that supported me, and we went around looking for rehabs.
Yes.
And I was very intentional about looking for a rehab that has a gym.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was like,
and you got one, yeah?
And I got one. It was Manimawe. It was makeshift, but I said it's better than nothing.
That's one of the.
It's one of it. It'll do.
Things are always there.
Yeah. So I met a good counselor, and I went to a rehab in Karen. They gave us a serious discount. That was just God. They allowed me in. But I went in with one principle. Success, and I had it on a movie, success is not a destination, it's daily disciplines.
Yes, it is.
So for me, what was daily disciplines? I was like, God, I've been trying to get back to being in your presence, reading your word. My daily bread, that book, The Daily Bread, you will see Daniel started reading consistently from 1st June to 5th June. Then from 5th June to 28th of June, there's a gap. And that I knew was my alcoholism that had taken over. So now I wanted a consistency there.
So now you're in rehab. How was it? Did you, obviously you'd accepted to go to rehab, so you are open to treatment?
I was open to treatment, I was open to the program, because the first thing I did is I went to understand first. My challenge, even before I went into rehab, is I wanted to understand what is rehab. I wanted to try and destigmatize it. So I was able to be told what I was suffering from, the definition of why I'm sick, because it's a disease of the brain, and I was being told what they would do to enable me to get better, and I would go through a program.
So you were able to go through that program, and doing your part.
And doing my part. As I said, spirituality, physical wellness, and I went with books to read, intellectual wellness. There's the 5 pillars of wellness. And one of the other pillar that is given in rehab that you have to get for yourself is the social, which is also stroke emotional wellness, where you get to share your story, hear other people's stories, connect with men, and know you're not alone. So I was deliberate about my recovery journey. I was deliberate from day one. Everybody used to say, even some people who admitted after me used to think I'm a counselor, because I used to dress up for class. I was they said, I'll do what concerns me, and the rest I'll leave to God.
And you were there for 90 days?
90 days.
And when you walked out from the
when I walked out, they allowed me to go by myself, because they knew this guy is serious about his journey. They even allowed me to take a taxi. When I stepped into the taxi, I introduced myself to the guy. I don't remember his name, but we can say he was called Martin. I told him, hi Martin, my name is Dan, and I'm a recovering
You know, that one is a wonderful story. You know why? Because acceptance liberates you. You know, and when you left, you already knew.
I knew. I had to start there.
You know, many people, the first thing when they leave rehab, they want to tell everyone, don't ever mention to anyone I was in rehab. Even at work, I've met people who are in so much denial. And unfortunately, for them, they end up relapsing because they're not...
You present the opportunities because nobody knows but yourself. So you attract the relapse by default. There's one incident when my friend had seen me, my neighbor had been told I was around. So he hadn't seen me in months. So he called me and it was curfew. He told me, Dad, I'm here, I'm buying a bottle of Gilbey's. Can you add some money? I buy 2. Because I used to always call him before my addiction, because he used to work in the media. I used to be able to drive at night. I used to always call him, bring me alcohol, because I finished my stock and kuna curfew. So now that he knew I was around, he was like, I don't want Dan to call me later. Let me bring another bottle. So he called me and I was carrying my daughter. She was a few months then, and he told me that. I panicked. I told him, I'll text you. So I was like, what do I do? Lord, help me. So I just texted him and I told him, I just got the courage and I told him, bro, the reason I've been away is because I went to rehab. I'm an alcoholic. I have a problem with alcohol. You know what he replied? Okay. I was like, that's simple. Now the seed was in my head. So the following day I went to his house to get a drink, pretending I'm going to say hi. When I went to the house, the wife opens the door. I'm like, hey, Sasa. She's like, good to see you, you're looking well. Then I sit down there. She's like, congratulations, I heard about your journey. As a matter of fact, here's a bottle of Coca-Cola. 2 liters, kunywa yote.
Substitutes.
And I'm like, God, did I drink? Then she says, Danny's around. Then he's like, nileta kitu. Usijaribu kuleta kitu. Imagine if I had not confessed.
Yes.
If I had not confessed, that would have been Gilbey's. And my story would have been different from there.
You know, even on that note, as we wind up, is there are many people who, this January, many people are doing the dry January where they're trying to stop drinking. And I find the wife of your friend was courteous because she respected your
yes,
new,
my decision, my resolve.
Mostly, even in our day by day, when someone asks you, why are you not drinking? It's like a big deal. And they're quick to tell you, where watcha, just have one. And I just want to tell anyone who's watching here today, whenever you hear someone refuse the drink, when someone says, no, I'm not having an alcoholic beverage, respect them, because you don't know why they said that. It is someone who respected what they had heard the husband saying, that she was able to offer another drink. If that alcohol was brought, then we'd have talked about a lapse, and we'd have talked about another cycle of the same
or even worse.
So let's respect those people who have opted for a sober life, encourage them so that you can be also part of that support system of living a day at a time sober. It's a gift to be sober.
It is a God-given gift. If you've made a decision to stop drinking, if you don't have to be an addict to make that decision, but if you realize that this alcohol has no value in your life, kindly don't just stop drinking, replace the habit. When you replace the habit, inevitably the company that will derail you back into drinking will fall off. So start picking new habits intentionally, because this is not a thing, it's not a joke, it's your life you're fighting for. Because one day truth will be so loud and you'll remember that you did not make the right choice. So make the right choice today and start choosing healthier habits.
Wow. So how long has it been?
4 years of uninterrupted.
Yes.
And as remember when we were talking here, we said it is not an option to drink anymore. I lost my mom last year, and through, I didn't cry for my mom because I knew she was happy. I felt like God poured grace on my life. Like I put her to rest, but I knew I was with her through that, and I knew she was happy. She witnessed her son standing in church, talking in shows. She witnessed people coming to her and saying, your son is doing so much, he has helped. Oh my God, he's a light. That was enough for her. That was enough for her. So if I can go through my mom's passing on and not drink, I don't think there's anything else that would make me want to drink. It's not an option. And as I told you,
Yes.
a real man develops himself for adversity. Yeah.
And you're prepared.
You're prepared.
You know,
Come what may.
You're prepared.
Come what may.
Yeah. Wow, that has been a wonderful time with D-Man on Silent Conversations with Miss Nkapa. Please remember to share this video. Let it empower someone who you know will benefit from the conversation we've had today. And the message here is, admit you have a problem. He's already explained to us from his story what are the signs of addiction. Seek for help and start a journey of reclaiming back your life. Until next time, I've been your host. God bless you.